I was just in the middle of cleaning the place when I got a revelation that I want to share immediately because, as I did yesterday, I think, I am somehow meant to already take you through the process that I usually always went through on my own with Source to let you see how this process is somehow working with me. Well, let's see. This revelation, well, it's so interesting how I have been protected my whole life just through being blinded. There were just information that I heard, that I saw, and at the same time, I was meant to have to just observe it on a specific level because everything else would just have done to me that I needed to be prepared for in order to cope with it. Now and then when I get the revelations, when the information can, come through, it means that I'm now ready to understand it. I was well, I met people. I had conversations with them. I was sharing information about some things I have experienced, the some things about the situation that I am in right now, and the people know that I am on my own and that I have no support of anyone besides Source that I am communicating with and living on. That I have still have to pay back loans and credits and debts that I have no idea how to. I just know that I follow what I meant to do and I know it's going to be all right. I walk by faith. They know some circumstances. And they told me as well that about their possessions. In the beginning when I met them, we were talking about more general general circumstances, situations regarding being so different, having to walk another way, having to walk away from other people. We were realizing that we had a lot in common. Still have having to walk away from the usual, from people, having to have no idea what's coming next. And I thought, wow, we are really in a similar situation. And then after some time, I got to know about some of their possessions, hearing that they have land and they have this field and that field and these animals and that animals and they have these trees and that trees and these fruits and this house. And I thought, okay. And I thought nothing. That was my protection. I am wow, and you have this and you have that. That's fabulous. That's wonderful. That's great. On top of that, there was even another situation in which I was asking because we were planning to go together to the supermarket by car because they have a car. We planned it, and in the morning they told me plans had changed. I was asking whether I may borrow the car, and the answer was no, which is obviously absolutely all right. And at that point, I thought nothing, nothing regarding what I got revealed right now. And I before I continue, I want to say to these people, it's absolutely all right. I just have to share this. I just have to bring it forth as an example because that's how I am meant to then come to the conclusion that I'm drawing because of the experience. So it's all right, and I am I am grateful for our encounter, and you did the right thing. Everything is right. I just have to share it. I just have to bring it forth. We were meant to meet for that story, besides others. And then I saw or observed how they were somehow being very saving, very saving when it comes to financial possessions and what they would spend for their for their foods and their groceries. We were talking about the need of nature and the importance of nature and the importance of how we are treating nature. And then they would go to the one of the cheapest supermarkets and giving no importance to buy organic food, which is, as I am seeing it, it's a way into the direction of my heart says and source says nature should be treated. It's a direction, because also organic food is very often it's a stamp rather than a life. It's a stamp rather than a living. It's a stamp rather than an execute. It's a direction. I know. Still, it's a direction also regarding fair trade products, and how it's just the direction towards love for nature and for one another. Also regarding how we are treating the fruit and the food, how we are touching it, how, and I know organic, it's also huge productions possible. I know there are ways, it's a direction. Okay, I said that enough. So they would go to this cheapest market and having no price. Oh, it was no priority. And still at that point, well, at that point I thought, okay, for me, I understand that that's different than authenticity for me. That we talk about this and we agree, and then we go on that. Because I mean, of course, you can say, well, when you have no idea where the money is coming from, then you go with the cheapest. You go with the cheapest, and you are the priority. And the thing is, how I'm perceiving it, that's just what I meant to do. That's why I do it. Nature is belonging to me. Nature, I am here to care for nature. I'm here to care for animals. I'm here to care for people. I'm here to care for others. And that's why also I knew, I mean, now it's, I knew I will only buy new stuff. That's why I have all these holes in my clothing and am sewing everything, because I know the next thing I'm going to buy will be organic, it will be natural, it will be fair trade, and I will be provided with it when I'm going to need it. That's why I buy only organic food. Because I know it's part of my purpose, and Source is providing me with everything that I need in order to fulfill my purpose, which is standing firm in knowing where I want to go this world to develop into. So I know that I only desire to grow together with this world, with this planet Earth, when it is according to love. I only am meant to step forth like this. Because elsewise it would mean that when I say I am the priority and I just give nothing for anything else, so I just buy the cheapest. Well, by the way, quality is also affecting you. Well, anyways, back to the first sentence. When I just consider myself, the person, as self, and put that as a priority, and I just give nothing for anything else, then it would mean that I I'm all right with living in this world, caring for nothing. It already starts there. It already starts there. Yes. I am my priority, absolutely, while I am just driven by source, and I am part of nature, and I am part of animals, and I am part of everyone else. So yeah, and the closest is, for now, right now, is the food, because it is so energizing directly. And I'm in such a direct communication with it, which is why it belongs to the priority that I am, which is just the executor of source and the representation of source. That's just what I am. Which means basically my actual priority is source, because I know that I am its representation. Okay, so I am now going back to the topic. It all belongs together, anyways. And suddenly, now that I'm cleaning, mm, I just got the information what I would do, what I consider these people should actually do. That's what I would have to do. I just got this. It just bammed. Bammed. These people should discuss with everyone that is responsible for their positions. And they should say, I know that we also have no idea what's going to happen. I have no idea. We have no idea. And this is our resources, and we have no idea where. Well, by the way, they're even renting some of their properties, so they have actually still an income, unless I mean, unlike my current situation. So what they should actually do is just clarify that, we met this person, Solaya, and I know that we barely have any idea how it's going to be. We have to support Solaya, because we have much more than Solaya. I mean, look, they hear my story, they tell me theirs. The comparison is so open, and I was so protected, because otherwise, oof. Well, anyways, and I even asked for borrowing the car so that I can buy something to eat, and the answer is no, which it is all right. And I also see where it is coming from. I have been growing up like this as well. The people that I was growing up with, and I source is my parents. And that's why I named these people that I grew up with the people that I grew up with, because my parents is source. My mother is source. My father is source. While I know that they wanted me to grow up in the most wonderful way, it's just the way I am being meant to be. I grew up like that as well. These people that I grew up with being, oh, I mean, they were different still. They were holding back finances. They were saving money because having no idea how to, and there was this thought that, we have to figure out how we can survive, so we have no chance to give anything to anyone else. Also, in case that others have even less than we do, because we have to somehow figure it out. Because they learned from their people that they were growing up with that this is how you have to do it in order to survive, because they experience times that they wish would never occur again, because they inspire them to sense such great discomfort. So I understand where that is coming from. I understand it because there was no faith. There was no faith. When you have no faith in the spirit and you just hold on to the earth, then it does make sense when you think that you have to somehow figure it out all on your own, and you have to see it all clearly from the beginning on, so that you know that it's true and that you know that it's something that you can hold on to. I absolutely understand that. I learned that, which is why I'm now put into this position that I can suddenly see how this is for someone who has so much less than the others, and the others saving and giving nothing to the one that has so much less, because they think that that's the way how they can only survive, because they have no faith. They might talk about it, well, they are without it, because otherwise they would give, because that would be in the name of source. I remember how I was how I was instructed for some time to get into this, understanding how I was buying something, and every time I bought something, I was calculating a specific percentage of what I would spend for what I purchased, and that I would donate tiny sums. Yes, and I donated it. And the moment I donated it, I imagined that someone, because of this, would now be able to have a blanket, or to be able to get something specific for a month. I was so grateful. And interestingly, also it's so empowering to think that you still have no idea where your resources will come from, and you see the floor coming close, and at the same time you enable someone else to survive, to keep warm, or more comfortable than this person would be without. And this is only possible when you have faith. Which means, yes, you can talk about faith. You can talk about faith, and you can say that you are faithful. The thing is, your actions show more than your actions. Your actions and how you are within your actions show whether you truly are faithful. Because when you act upon it, what your faith tells you, and you are content and fulfilled and at peace, during that action, then you know, yes, you're faithful. Because this is what faith does. It lets your heart be warm and fulfilled while you do something that talks against everything that you can tangibly perceive. This is faith. Wow, which is why this is just, yeah. So I understand it, we learned it, and I just suddenly see that this is, yeah, it somehow became so normal that you only can help someone else who needs who needs. When you have specific stability, the question is, when do you have the stability? When you look on the physical base, especially in this widely spread situations in which you seemingly need more and expediently and expansionally growing more to be considered as stable. I was in the swimming pool yesterday, a public one. I have no swimming pool. And there were so many. I mean, there were just so many different people. Wow, it was absolutely movie. It's amazing. And they had so many tools to play with, amazing. And then they were put that do this, and while the children are playing with all these tools, they're organizing this, and they're there on their phones, and they're this and doing that. So, and for them, it seems to be all right. That's why they do it on some level. It's all right. I was just amazed. Because I was away for so long from society because I was being kept hidden just to be in conversation with source. So I was just amazed. To me, it's absolutely, it's a movie. And it's now coming back to me to see that this kind of social stability went into a direction of telling you that you need so much more in order to be considered a stable, accepted, able to survive, to live, to be one of them, to be part of. Which means, when will you have enough to give to someone else? When at the same time you get to know, well, what you need for stability is also growing. When will you have enough? And that's when you need to have faith to know, no, stop. No. I say no to having this and that, and having this and that, and having this and that. And right next to me, there's someone having no pair of shoes. I say no to that. And I say no to that. And I say no to that regardless of what anyone says, regardless of what any institution says, regardless of what any country says, and regardless of what any continent says, and regardless of what any planet says. Because my heart tells me that there is something that needs to be different. And when it is 1 cent, I am donating that. Because it is about the awareness. It is about the awareness. Why are there still people who have so much less? Why? Because they still have a function. They are still needed to make us aware of why we're here. And this is being there for one another. Which is why I am now taking this as a chance to still say, and to say to these people and to everyone else, that my sense that they are resonating with this way of state. It is all right. It is absolutely all right. And you have your reasons. You learned it. And right now it is necessary that you do it the way you do it. It is necessary right now. That's the only reason why you do it. I thank you for this encounter. I really thank you for this. It's just making so much stronger to know what I need to do, to know what I am meant to do. And I pray at the same time that you're open to let this be a message telling you that you are far away from living by faith. You talk about it, and you see it as a beautiful concept, and your actions and how you sense what you sense within your action is telling you whether you just see and look at faith as a beautiful concept or whether it is you. And when you talk about faith, while you hold on to something because you sense huge discomfort thinking about what would happen when you let go of it, then you live something else than a faithful way. Then faith is still something else. So it's a possibility to sense and just check, is faith a concept to you, or is it you? Because when you oh wow, I even yeah. You know, holy heaven. Okay, a little side note. When I was in kindergarten, I was the protagonist in the performance. I was already on stage having no idea that this is what I am meant to be. I was the protagonist, and it's the story is the star money. The star money. It's about, well, there's a creature, and the creature is what it's just very often it's this the creature is going around traveling through life, through the world, and then there are several people coming and they're all in need, and this person has a piece of bread and is giving away the piece of bread. And then there's another person coming in. Well, maybe there was even another thing in the pocket and giving away that. And then there's another person and it's very cold, and so the person is giving away the coat, and then the person is that creature is being left with just it was just a blouse or a blouse dress, something like that. That was all that this person had. And I even forgot about that. I would just got reminded about it when I read it again. That somehow in this moment, coins were falling from the sky. Yeah, very, very clear analogy. I think. Coming back now to how this applies to what I was saying beforehand. Is faith just a beautiful concept, or how you consider beautiful? I mean, I just say beautiful now. Or are you faith? It's because when you have two blankets and there's one person without it, you give this blanket away, and this is your nature. Of course, when source is saying no, stop, because yes, of course. I mean, you gotta be in conversation with source. I'm just meaning that from a loving point of view, it would just be so natural that you would give that blanket away, also knowing, hey, I have no idea whether I may need it in 2 weeks because I lose the other one. These are reasons we come up with, these reasons in order to keep all the things that we have, because you never know. You never know. And when you have faith, then you know, well, I know Source, you will take care of me because this other person right now is cold and needs a blanket. So I'm giving that blanket to that person. And I know I'm going to be right because I know when I do this righteous thing, when I do this thing that is following the heart, that is following the nature of Source, then I'm going to be provided with what I need when I do need it. Okay, that's enough. My heaven. Whew, yes.